Gentlemen, Sean Davies, ColoradoReinsman. I'm here with Mustang Mike over here. He just got here yesterday from the Great Escape Mustang Sanctuary. And I did a little session with him about half an hour, 45 minutes after we unloaded him. And just did a little pressure and release and let Mike know, how the work was going to proceed. And we ended real well. He stood and let me rub his face pretty good. So I was real happy with that. So today is going to be the first day of really asking him to understand that, his whole life is going to take a new step in a new direction. Mike has quite the history. Just for the sake of him moving forward, I'm not going to go into it a whole lot, but, Mike was in a failed situation with someone, and if you look at his feet are extremely long. He hasn't had any of the care and maintenance that a horse should. And if you're going to have horses in training, you should do the right thing, get those horses handled, get them to where they can pick up their feet so they don't get in this situation where he's 2 to 3 inches too long on his toes, could cause leg damage over time. So I've got to get this horse handled so we can get his feet done, or I can do his feet. You look at his mane, it's one big knot. These are things that these horses deserve a certain amount of care. And if you don't get in there and don't get them handled and don't put the pressure that you need to on, then here you've got a horse that doesn't really care about letting someone touch him. He went away all the time. So I'm going to be teaching him today that, listen, I'm going to touch you. I've got to be able to touch you. I am going to put some pressure on you. I am going to ask you to give to me. He's not going to like it. He's going to protest because, he'd gotten away with things for a while. So now he's not going to be able to just get away from things. And yes, he'll get a little upset. Well, life is rough. There is going to be, especially for horses, especially for Mustangs in this day and age, life is rough. But we've got to get them to be productive members of society. Now you look at him. He is actually a very curious horse. When we're standing outside the pen, if you just sit there quietly, he'll come over. He had a lot of labels, and I talked about this yesterday. He had labels of finally being untrainable. It was said that all horses aren't the 90-day or $100-day Extreme Mustang Makeover horses. Well, you're right in that sense. Not every horse is like that. I get in horses like that. They're not going to be 100-day horses. But if you go about training the way that they need to be trained, you're going to make progress in that 100 days. You should have a leadable horse. You should have one that your feet can be picked up and trimmed. One that can easily get in and out of a trailer. So these things are extremely important, and not to do that is a disservice to the horses. So I'm not going to allow that to happen with this horse anymore. He's going to be with me a while, and I'm not going to allow that kind of disservice to continue with this horse. For his for his adopter who's up in Canada, I'm going to do the best I can for this horse. This horse was named after her late father. I said that in my little video yesterday. So we're kind of trying to do a service to my client in the memory of her father. I'm not going to put that kind of responsibility on the horse, but there is a certain amount of responsibility on me for that. So I'm going to come along here and start asking this guy. I want to see where we left off yesterday, telling him that going away from me was the wrong answer and coming to me was the right answer. I'm only going to do that for a few minutes. I've gotten in here and cleaned his pen up this morning, and he was just very curious, coming over, looking in the cart and watching me while I picked up his manure. So he is very curious. So I'm going to turn that into curiosity and follow-up. I want him to follow up. So right now, I'd like him to turn and face me. So he looked at me a little bit. So I'm going to ask him, let's just see if I can come over here and say, hey young man, will you come to me? And there he goes with that going away stuff. So I'm going to say, hey, That's not the right answer. And there, he looked at me, and I said, that is the right answer, so I'm going to ask him to face me up and follow me up. He went away. He looked at me. So just from yesterday, he's learning that going away is not the correct response. Turning his butt to me is not the correct response. Good boy. Good boy. Now, there's some schools of thought out there. I don't think they're the correct schools of thought, but there are schools of thought, and I say people always look for a style that fits what they want to believe. Now, there are schools of thought that with these horses that you should do everything with absolutely no pressure. That you shouldn't ask very much of these horses. Let them make all those decisions on their own time. Well, as a trainer who's getting paid to do a job, I feel a responsibility to get a certain amount of work done in a certain amount of time. If you're at home and this is your horse and you're an adopter, you can take 10 years, I don't care. It's not a service to the horse, but you can do whatever you want to. But as a trainer, if you're getting paid to do something, you have a responsibility to get a certain amount done in a certain amount of time, up to the horse's ability and up to your knowledge level. So if you don't have a very good knowledge level, don't go out and search for the thing that fits your knowledge level. Go out and find the things that will increase your knowledge level to help the horse get better than where he is when he's in your care. So this old guy, I want him to give. But he says, well, in the past, I've just said, no, I don't want to give, I'm going to go away. Well, he was in a much bigger pen where he was, in with other horses, as a wild little horse, and he said, no, I want to be with those horses. I don't really particularly want to be with you. And when he went away, he was allowed to go away. So now, his relationship with people is, if he chooses to go, he says there's no downside to that. Now I'm saying there is a downside to that. There's pressure. There's a demand for attention. So I'm going to be that lead horse in the herd. People want to say, well, it shouldn't use pressure. Well, in a horse group, a band, there is somebody in there that puts pressure on the other horses and says, come with me, go over here, we're going to water, we're going to go over here and graze. And if somebody says no, that horse puts pressure on them and gets them to listen. So for this little guy, I'm going to say, hey, I need you to listen and follow me up. So this is about like watching paint dry. It's over and over and over and saying, hey, over and over and over, get the right answer. Good boy. Good boy. Now I'm going to stop him right there. Back off. Ask that butt to move. Look at him, back off, get him to face me. Good boy. He wants to go away, put pressure on him. Put pressure on him. And say that's the wrong answer. Don't get too cocky, young man. Good boy. Good boy. Don't you leave me. He says, I'm exiting stage left to my stall. He goes, well, I got nowhere to go now. Come on. So I'm going to put a little pressure and get him to come back out. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. You don't get to exit stage left. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He says, man, there's a lot of pressure here. I'm not getting to escape. Don't put that butt towards me. Now when I walk off, I'd like him, now he may try to escape into a stall here, but what I'd really like him to do is just like he did, follow me around a little bit. Chase me off in a sense. I like the expression on his face there. Good boy. So I let him think a little bit, and then I'm going to approach. I want you to take your arm and like it's just a doll or a puppet arm, like you get a string, and that's how much pressure you pick up that hand with. You don't sit there with an arm stiff. Just kick that arm up like it's floating on the air. Good boy. Good boy. Now see that right there, he's being defensive. And I'm going to say, don't be defensive. Pay attention. Good boy. Good boy. See, whenever he turns right now, I'm demanding a lot more from him in this initial stage. I'm demanding a lot of him. I'm saying, you don't get to do that. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And if he'll stand there and look at me, that's exactly what I want. But if he goes away, I'm going to get big. I'm going to say that's the wrong answer. Close up. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to go in my stall. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Pressure. Shake it off. You can do this for hours. But sooner or later, you're going to have to go to the next stage. So what is the next stage for him? Well, I'm going to get him touched. Good boy. But first, I've got to make a little more progress than what we've got right here. Good boy. See, that's the progress I wanted to see. I wanted to let him approach me. Now, this is where we change his life. So this is my handy dandy Mustang stick. So where can you get one of these? Home Depot. It's an 8-foot garden stake. It's a plastic covered little metal tube. It's very light. Now today, a lot of times I don't do this, but today I took some paint rags and wrapped it with some duct tape around the end because I want this to be soft. Sometimes I just get in there and scratch them, you know, with the end, but today I wanted this to be soft, more like a soft touch. So he's never had this before, and he's probably going to jump around and get a little freaky, and that's okay. But what I have to start getting him to understand is that wherever he goes, I'm going to be able to touch him. That's why we're in a 24 by 24 foot pen. And anywhere he goes, I'm still going to be within range of touching him. So I want to get in a position. I like whichever side he's most comfortable with. You see, he kind of goes, oh man, I'm going to come out here and not even get close to him yet. I just want to get that stick close to him and let him feel comfortable. Good boy. And then I'll retract it. I'll ask him to move. Good boy. And I would like him to be sideways to me. And now I'm going to start positioning myself somewhere around his shoulder with my body facing backwards. And I'm going to come in with my stick. You see, he's acting like a wild Mustang. He's worried about something coming in his area. Good boy. Now, if I touch him, he's very likely going to kick this stick. I'm going to let him smell this. I just touched him, and he didn't die. Good boy. So he's in his stall. He said, "Oh, you're killing me." All right, he was in the stall. I got him out, and then I closed the door because I don't want him exiting the stage left now because he's going to do that a lot. So I'm controlling the center of this pin. Now you see right now he's really worried because he doesn't understand the idea of a touch. And he just said, "Wait a minute, he touched me." No. Good boy. He just calmed down, and I'm going to let him think. Oh, he's a good boy, and I'm going to rub him right there. And then I'm going to back off. He's thinking about going over that door, so I'm going to close the upper door. But he found it right there, and he went, "Oh, you didn't kill me." I'm going to get over here. Just going to close that. Now you've got to concentrate. So you didn't get killed once I got him touched. So let's build on that. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy. I'm rubbing him now. I'm rubbing him. He's going, "Oh my goodness, something's touching me. It's crazy. It's crazy." And when he stops, Good boy. Starting to slow down. I'm just going to look down, relax. Roll that around on him. Now I wish these poles were just a little bit longer, but 8 foot's good for this pen. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He's starting to realize I'm not killing him. Good boy. Good boy. There he's walking. Good boy. Now how long can he keep that up? He can keep that up for a while. I'm going to bring it up here to his withers. And get that to be a place. He said that was too crazy. Let me put it back here where he's comfortable with it. Good boy. Good boy. Let's rub him. Let's rub him. Let's step in front. Good boy. Good boy. I just got him stopped, and now I'm just going to rub him with this. Look at that. And rub him. See, this is exactly what I want. I'm going to create a sweet spot right here, to where every time I need to work him on this side, he'll stop over here and relax. So now I got him rubbed on the withers. I'm rubbing his butt. I'll work back up. I'll rub his neck. And then I'm going to take that away and walk off. And let him contemplate life right there. And he's kind of going, wow. Now I want to really relax myself. Turn this way. Come in again. I'm going to extend this out. Let him stabilize. Extend it out. Let him stabilize, and I'll push him there. Good boy. Reach over and touch him. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. See, I want that nice soft touch with those clothes, with that cloth. I'm going to rub his shoulder. I'm going to rub his back. Rub his tail head, which is always a touchy spot. Start kind of seesawing it and rubbing him. Good boy. Rub his neck. He says, oh my God, man. Now I'm going to go with him and just try to get him to stabilize. Rub that wither where horses like to groom each other. Just rub him. Kind of draw an outline on him. Go with him. Good boy. Good boy. He's not going to go away. Good boy. Start touching him in all these spots where he's naturally defensive. And it's okay if he gets defensive, but that's real good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He's licking. He says, that's a lot of pressure. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now I'm going to take that and walk away. boy. I just want him to think for a couple minutes. He's going, I'm not really here, I'm just going to eat this hay. I know, young man. That's really good for you. That's a lot. That's a lot, young man. Now I'm going to come back in. Reach over and rub him. Oh, a little start, but not a lot of panic. And one thing you're going to notice is I've chalked up on my stick some. Good boy. See, I'm not reaching out from the very end of my stick. Now, one thing you want to do when you're doing this is not stand with locked knees, because if he were to swing his butt my way and fire, I need to be able to move. So my feet are no more than shoulder distance apart. My knees are slightly bent so I can move quickly. And, you know, I'll be able to hopefully move out of the way before he gets too stupid. Good boy. I'm going to touch his neck. Now he said that was a lot. Let's see if he finds that sweet spot again. Right there. Good boy. Good boy. See, he'll start getting back in that comfort zone. Good boy. Good boy. Now he may get a little squeeze between this panel and I, but I'd like to come up here and be able to rub his shoulder. Good boy. Every time I touch a new space and he doesn't freak out, we're making improvement. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to try to go down that front leg and see if I can do it without him getting stupid. Excellent. He picked up his front leg. That's good. Rubbing his foot. See, now I'm able to disconnect that stick from him. And now you see I'm about halfway up this stick. So that means I'm closer. Big hawk. So it's really nice and sunny today. It means it's going to get really hot, because we had a beautiful rainstorm yesterday. Thank God. Colorado definitely needed it with all the fires. But it was a rainy day and cool and overcast. Had a jacket on. And today it's nice and sunny and warm, and we're trying to get a little bit done with him this morning and maybe come back to him again this afternoon and see how he does. But look at the progress. He's already settled down. He's already saying, you know, this isn't that bad. You know, he still has the capability of being a wild horse. He still can flip and get really panicky really quick. But rubbing it up underneath his neck. You know, this horse is giving so quickly. And he's calm about that. I'm going to come right up here to the top of his neck. Good boy. So I'm not going to chase him there. I'm just going to let him stand where he goes. See if I'm going to give him the chance to go away. See, this is where you can take his instinct to go away and turn it into an opportunity for him to succeed. And you see, he stopped, has his leg cocked, so I am going to go away. I go away before he goes away. See, that's one of the things that you have to learn how to do. time who goes away from who. Good boy. Now you look at him. He has started to calm down. So when I come back in with my stick, I'd like him to stay calm. And see, he went back to his sweet spot. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now a lot of times when I build my Mustang pins, I really like, I have a loafing shed at the end, and I usually create the sweet spot in there. And they feel better, they feel a little bit more comfortable in a spot where it's kind of, you know, they've got a wall in their front and wall on their side, and you're in here and you're working, and they start getting more and more comfortable. Now you notice that I'm chalked up really close to him, and he notices it, believe me. He's feeling my energy in his space. And he's going, you're awful close, but I'm just trying to get him to, good boy, just trying to get him comfortable with me in that space. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm staying in a position right about what I call the horizontal line. People call it the drive line, girth line. So I'm facing back, relaxed. Break there so we could make some room on the camera phone, or the phone camera. So we're getting back, and in that time I had the stick leaning over here on the fence, and Mike came over and picked it up and tried walking around with it, stepped on it a little bit, so it's a little bent now. So yeah, he's real afraid of this stick. So let's just come back in here. Okay, so I haven't touched him in 10 minutes, and you see now he's not so worried about it. So we've already made huge progress just in touching this horse. I'm going to rub his tail hit. Let's come down, and I'm going to pick up his tail and just say, hey. And I'm going to come back and rub him. So I'm not going to be so hesitant about stuff. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now, he said, I'm going to escape. And I'm going to say, but you can't escape. Good boy. But what this gives me is an opportunity to try to get a little work done on this side. Good boy. I'm going to try to get in position here. So he's pretty comfortable when I'm touching that left side. Good boy. Good boy. Now we're touching the right side. And he went, but you're not killing me. Good boy. Oh my goodness, man. Good boy. So I'm going to brush him with that rag. Rub his hip. Work my way back to his withers. Good boy. I'll rub his neck on this side. He's going to flip around. And I say, that's fine. I can work this side too. Good boy. You see, he's so much more comfortable on this side now. Good boy. Rub his neck. Rub up underneath his chin. Good boy. Rub his shoulder. Rub his leg. Rub down his leg. Rub up the back of his leg. touch his chest and his belly. Good boy. Come back up. Rub him. Walk off. See, that was amazing. Look at that horse. He's standing there. He's going, okay, you aren't killing me. Look at him. Look at his demeanor. Is he dying over there? No. He's not freaking out. He's just getting over a sensation that he's never had before. Somebody touching him all over. The only time this horse was probably ever touched was when they gathered him, run him up into the chute, freeze brand him, gelled him, and maybe down there at the BLM, they probably ran him into a chute to trim his feet once or twice, however long he was. I don't even think this guy got to Canyon City. I think he came straight from the gather at Sand Wash Basin to Jim's. So he didn't even have that kind of handling except out there where they were freeze branding him on site and gelding him. So let's come in. Let's get him touched quickly. Let's rub him. Good boy. Good boy. Let's walk away. Now I'm going to change it up a little bit. Let him contemplate life. Walk back in. I'm going to drop my shoulder, reach out. There. I'm going to get to where he doesn't have such a big reaction when I get closer. Good boy. I'm going to come in. Reach out. Good boy. Good boy. Rub him. Walk away. And then every time I walk away, you see he relaxes a little bit more. Come back in. I drop my hat brim below his eyes so he doesn't see my eyes coming in. And of course it's even scarier when you're wearing glasses because they can see a reflection off of that and they get worried. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now I've replaced my stick with my hand. Good boy. So you see the progress there is amazing. So I was able to touch him with my hand that time. And he didn't freak out with the change of touch, and that's why I put this rag on, because that is more like my hand touching him, soft. So I'm going to come back in this time. And touch him. Good boy. 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 So that was pretty darn good right there. Yes, sir, Mr. Mike. So that was real good. So all of that, 90% of it was with my hand. Now my last thing today, for right now, because I just made huge progress with him. So my last thing today, I'm still going to walk up there with this stick. What you doing, young man? But I'm going to reach out with the stick. Good boy. And I didn't touch him with the stick that time. I touched him with my hand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is his first real workout session, other than the little bit of work I did yesterday. And you'll see what the progress from me putting that pressure on him to this right here. Now that was pretty remarkable. Now I always say I'm a glutton for punishment. I push the envelope. Before he goes away, I'm going to leave. Now we're done for this session. If you get that in your first session, we've been out here maybe an hour with him, with about a 10-minute break there, getting the phone situated. So I went from a horse that had never been touched before like that, as far as allowing someone to come into him and pet him and walk away. Now I've got that accomplished, at least on this side. I'll have to get it accomplished on the other side. And then we work towards getting a rope on him and getting him to give to a little pressure of the rope to, then I'll maybe get that rope tied as a halter, and then we get a halter on him, and then we start leading him, and then we start showing him how to live in this world with people. He's never going to go back to the wild. You know, if they can't stay out there, at least it's our responsibility to get them to where they could get along in this world and be productive members of society, so they don't end up in a bad situation. Good boy. Good boy. I know, Junior. Seeing how that leg gave to me right there, he'll be willing to pick up his feet. So I'm thrilled to death. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our second day, and second session, but first real session with him doing something that we wanted a result more than just getting him to face us up. So you're going to see a lot of progress with this horse. He's going to come along really quick. I'm hoping in the next couple days I'll have gotten him to where I can walk in and walk up to him and pet him without going through the stick process. You know, stick process, as you see, is extremely important, but there's also a next layer to that. So we'll always look at the next layer coming up and how to build on what we just did there. So stay tuned. Mustang Mike, or Miguel as his other name is, but we're going to see a lot. This guy's going to be a fantastic little horse. So stay tuned. Sean Davies, Colorado Reinsman.